very good afternoon to all of you. I hope I am audible. Just give me a second. Yes. So, in my opinion, I am audible. In case I'm not, you guys can tell me. I welcome you to this session, Basics of Jumbles. We are going to talk about the Jumble questions asked in various CAT and non-CAT exams, right? So, how to attempt these questions, what kind of questions come, what are the various question formats, right? So, all of that we are going to discuss, along with, of course, the approach to tackle such questions, right? So, welcome to this session and let's begin. Okay, so basics. You tell me, what are the things that we should keep in mind when we attempt a parajumble question, how you attempt a parajumble question. Let that be the starting point of the discussion. And through this, then we are going to proceed to discussing these aspects. Right? So, yes, raising the question that what is it that you pay attention to when you attempt a parajumble question. Good afternoon, Diksha. Welcome to the session. Okay. What do you guys pay attention to? Want to know from you? Grouping. So Gaurav says grouping. On what basis, Gaurav? That's a good technique, but on what basis do you link sentences to each other or group sentences with each other? In SNAP, in the previous years, parajumbles have been asked. In fact, in slot 3 last year, one parajumble question was asked. Okay, so it's not that they cannot be asked. Good noon, Shalu. Good afternoon, Ritul. Okay, okay. So you are talking particularly about the odd one out. I'm asking right now, I'm talking about the sequence parajumble, right? We'll come to odd sentence parajumble towards the end. Okay, so because most of your exams they ask you sequence parajumbles, that's why we'll discuss that for the majority of the session today. Grammar based clues, absolutely correct, Gaurav. So, grammar based clues are very reliable because you know the meaning of a transition word, a connector such as but. You know the meaning of a word such as however. You know the meaning of a word such as consequently. So, basically, when you know their meanings, you also are able to establish the relationship that exists between two sentences. So, for instance, a sentence that has consequently is the result of something, isn't it? It is the result of something. So, I will look for other sentences. I'll look for other sentences. Maybe one of these is actually the cause which has led to this result. So, absolutely correct. Grammar based clues, such as your connecting words, your conjunctive adverbs, as we call them, right? Your connectors, but however, additionally, consequently, they help. Then, what else in grammar? Even tenses can help. It's not like, the sequence has to be past, present, future. It's always going to be like this. This is a common misconception that students have, that first a sentence of the past should come, then present, then future. No, this sequence is not something that is given always. In fact, a lot of times a student can start with the present tense. Yes, or a writer can start with the present tense, right? So, and then go into a flashback of sorts. So, this sequence is not something that is given, but as you said, Gaurav, grouping. Grouping is something that can happen here as well. If I have three sentences in the present tense and two in the past, then most likely these two are going to come together and these three are going to come together. Right? So we can group on the basis of tenses. We can take the help of articles, the. We can take the help of the noun pronoun relationship, name of a person and then he or she. Okay, when I say these refers to something, what is that thing? So this way, grammar based clues are very, very reliable clues on the basis of which we can actually form links, we can connect sentences. Always remember this. Okay, can linking the logic. Absolutely, Ritul. So what you are talking about is nothing but theme and structure based clues. I come to these next. So give me a second. Okay, so yes. Theme based clues. How do you connect sentences on the basis of the theme? You basically understand first, comprehend first what is being discussed. right? And then you apply your logic. Okay, 1 and 3 are talking about the same thing. In fact, 3 is explaining, 3 is elaborating what 1 has just introduced. So you just applied your logic there, right? On, and you identified a common theme that they shared, and on the basis of that, you decided, okay, 1 3 is probably a pair. If it is not a mandatory pair, at least it is an order, meaning that 3 should come after 1, right? So, absolutely correct. Theme based clues help us. And lastly, are structure based clues. They are also a big help. What do I mean by structure based clues? So, if there is a sequence, let's say this could be a date based sequence, a time based sequence that may exist in a paragraph. Let's say the paragraph talks about certain events in the history of India. Okay, so it talks about what happened in 1857, then it talks about what happened in 1947, then it talks about what happened in 1950, right? So that way there is a date time based sequence. Now this could be in the ascending order also, this could be in the descending order also, starting from 1950 and then going to the past. But we've identified a sequence there. So sequences, processes which say first do this, then do that, that's also a structure based sequence, right? Sometimes you have an introduction, problem, conclusion kind of a paragraph, that's a structure. So identifying what the paragraph is about, how the author has arranged his or her thoughts, and what connectors, what connecting links have been used, right? They together help you to solve a parajumble question. And what ultimately you are trying to do through these clues? You're trying to form orders that, okay, 1 will come before 3, 3 will come before 5, or you're trying to form mandatory pairs that 1 and 3 belong together, nothing can come in between them. So this is a foolproof approach to solving parajumble questions, making pairs or making orders based on such clues, right? So let's have a look at a CAT question, but it's an MCQ, a multiple choice question. CAT, it's see, although for the last 7 8 years, CAT has been asking non-MCQ parajumbles, type in the answer parajumbles, but this wasn't always the case. Till 2014, CAT used to ask MCQ parajumbles. So you should be exposed to even those questions. So let's have a look at this. These are the directions given to you. The sentence given in each question, when properly sequenced, forms a coherent paragraph. The sentences, sorry, form a coherent paragraph. Each sentence is labeled with a letter. Choose the most logical order of sentences from among the given choices to construct a coherent paragraph. So nothing new I found in the directions. I just have to arrange my sentences. And here comes a previous year question with 6 sentences. Okay, so this has 6 sentences. You have to arrange all these 6 in a coherent order. Right? So let's see what you say. Yes. Again, make use of links, right? Make use of links. We just talked about clues. Arrange, eliminate, make use of your options. I'm not saying solve entirely through options. No. You shouldn't solve like this. Okay, you read A and then you read your paragraph in this order. No, that will be very time consuming. Rather, just take the help of clues. So, for instance, either A or D is the opening sentence, either F or again A is the closing sentence. This much I can gather from my options. Now I'll start solving, and after let's say I identify that okay, AC is a pair. If I identify that AC is a pair, C and D go out of the window right there. So this is how you proceed. Okay. So I'm giving you 1 minute. Tell me what the answer for this should be. Yes. I understand, Rahul. I do have Snap parajumbles also, and in Snap also, MCQ parajumbles have been asked in the past, in as recently as last year itself, right? So this will help you. So I hope I'm not hiding anything. I've got my first response. Let's see what the others say. I've got one more. A. I need at least 5, 6 responses. Without that, I'm not going to discuss this. Okay. B, A, all right. So B versus A in the chat box right now. Anybody who would like to break that tie? All right. Let's have a look. Having a strategy is a matter of discipline. Okay. Either this is the opening sentence or strategy goes far beyond the pursuit of best practices. Any of them could be. If I just read A and D, it doesn't help me much. Okay. Let's have a look at the other sentences then. It requires a strong focus on profitability and a willingness to make tough trade offs, okay, in choosing what not to do. All right. It involves the configuration of a tailored value chain that enables a company to offer unique value. So basically, what it requires, what it involves, fine. But this sentence seems related to discipline. To me, at least, this seems related to discipline because strong focus, making tough trade-offs, choosing what not to do. Okay, similarly, when I looked at E, that also seemed related to discipline to me. So see, I'm making using theme-based clues here because it says a company must stay the course even during times of upheaval while constantly improving and extending its distinctive positioning. So to me, C and E both appear related to A. And A, of course, looks like it should come before C and E. So, unfortunately, that does not help me much because in all my options, that is the case. However, one thing that I realize is that B can come later on also. B is not something that is related to discipline as such, right? So, let's see what B is related to. Strategy goes far beyond the pursuit of best practices. Okay, so it goes far beyond the pursuit of best practices. All right. When a company's activities fit together as a self functioning system, any competitor wishing to imitate a strategy must replicate the whole system. This clearly looks like the closing sentence because here I am talking more about the competitor. That if you make your strategy an integrated whole, how will you make it an integrated whole? By by doing all these things, by it's involving all these things. So F should be the closing sentence, and that's why C is eliminated. I realize that A is my opening sentence. Okay. I also strongly feel that B cannot come in between as it is not about discipline. So I have eliminated C and D right there, primarily on the basis of theme based clues only. Right. Now it's a choice ACE, ACB. Yes. What do you say? ACE or ACB? I think we have addressed this as well. So it should be ACE, DBF. Okay. ACE, DBF. And that's why our answer is option A. So based on theme-based clues, I identified ACE as the sequence. I also realized that F is the closing sentence. I eliminated D as the opening sentence, and that made the job easy for me. Right? So this is how we had to attempt this question. Good, those students who said A, Gaurav, Magma, you are absolutely correct, both of you. Right? Okay then. So just because, yes, just want to clarify this, that just because snap slot 1 did not ask para-jumbles does not mean that they cannot be asked in 2 and 3. In last year also in 1 and 2 there were no para-jumbles, but in 3 there was a para-jumble question. Okay. And IFT does ask para-jumble questions. So let's have a look at an IFT question first. Uh, 4 sentences. It's just a 4 sentence para-jumble, an easy para-jumble. Let's see who answers the fastest here. Yes. All the very best, Daniel. Let's see, let's see. Okay, C, D. All right. Others. Nobody saying B. Bangalore. Makes sense, right? Because if I start 2 also with Gohar and 4 also with Gohar, it is very jarring to use Gohar in the very next sentence when you've just used it in the previous sentence. Usually, people use she, basically the pronoun, after they've introduced the person, right? So, Gohar, either 2 or 4 is the opening sentence, right? Because it starts with Gohar, whereas 1 and 3 have she, right? So, eliminated right away, isn't it? Also, we eliminated B on the basis that 2 and 4 both say Gohar. This is rare. This is rare, okay? And moreover, there are very decent clues here, very easy clues here. See, she was defying norms. How was she defying norms? She actually did not use the tunes that Tagore had set his songs to. Instead, she rendered them in her own style. So 4-3 is a very clear pair. The moment you realize this, you know C is your answer. Nothing else can be your answer. Right. So 2, it introduces what Gohar wanted to do, right? And that's why she introduced Rabindranath Tagore's songs, but she did not she introduced them with a twist, right? And that twist is mentioned in 4 and 3. So second, first, fourth, and third, option C is the answer. Absolutely correct, all of you who said C. Okay. Good. So this is to emphasize that not all questions in, let's say, even in a difficult exam such as IIFT are going to be difficult, right? And in fact, IIFT is a mixed bag when it comes to English. There are easy questions also. You just have to identify them, right? Okay. This is a that question. After this, a snap question is coming up. So have a look at this. See, in snap also in your previous years, 6 sentence parajumbles have been asked, right? In fact, we did one in one of our previous sessions only. A 6 sentence parajumble it was. So have a look at this and tell me what the answer should be here. Again, not difficult if you just form connections. All the very best to all of you. Oh, okay. I have to. Yes, yes, yes. I have to become invisible for this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. I've got one response. Gaurav says seems like B. Okay. Others? Come on, come on. Sneha says A. Abhishek B. Gaurav A. All right. That's it. Four responses. Come on. No negative marking here, right? You can take a risk. Either B or E. All right. Let's have a look. Okay, so let's see the approach to solving this question, right? So um, I'll have to stay invisible only, and that they just have to rely on hearing me because otherwise I'll end up covering the text. So okay, look at the pointer and listen to me very carefully. F says for instance. That means it is giving me an example of something, isn't it? For instance, concern with the instability of commodities markets led to the establishment in the 1980s of the Common Fund for Commodities, and the competition for the newly discovered wealth of the international seabed area resulted in the creation of the ISA under the Law of Sea Convention of 1982, based on the concept of the common heritage of mankind. So if you see here, I'm probably naming organizations that okay, this problem led to the establishment of this organization, problem Y led to the establishment of another organization. Then in E I say more recently in the 1990s. See, I told you dates can help us. 1980s, 1982. More recently in the 1990s, the problems of international trade, which was growing increasingly complex, led to the development of the WTO. So F and E is a clear cut pair. Okay, I am talking about the organizations that have been developed to solve various problems. The moment you realize this, that F and E is a pair, right, that at least eliminates our option A. Now, another thing is when I say for instance, that means this is an example of something. What is it an example of? The fact that more and more international organizations are coming up. Yes? So, uh, we have talked about this in which sentence? International organizations have been developed. Generally, it is unusual for a new problem in international relations to be considered without at the same time some international organization being developed to deal with it, isn't it? So A is actually introducing this idea and F is giving an example of it. That see this problem, whenever a problem emerges, we create an organization to deal with it. So AFE. Now when you realize that AFE looks like a sequence, it is present in just these two. So either C or D is the answer. So now tell me, should it be C? Should it be D? C or D? Should it be DB or should it be BD? It comes down to that. C is the opening sentence. Despite the fears and concerns of some governments that international organizations are increasing too fast and that they are a burden on their exchequers, they are still increasing, they're still proliferating at a considerable rate. In fact, it is unusual for a new problem in international relations to be considered without establishing an international organization for it. Then we give examples of it. Now, should it be BD or DB? That's the question. Okay, one of you says D Delhi. That means it should be BD, right? Absolutely correct. It should be B and then D because D is elaborating. D is elaborating what B introduced. International society has, in spite of the diversity of culture and political systems, been progressively drawn closer together and become more unified. Okay, so it's an idea that the author is introducing here. people and their governments. So this is the international society, people and their governments. So how has it become more unified? How has it been drawn closer together? Because people and their governments now look far beyond national frontiers and feel a common responsibility for the major problems of the world and for lesser problems that may subsist within smaller groups of states. This is how our international society has been unified. So D Delhi is the answer. Good. Those of you who said D Delhi, Sham, Gaurav, Abhishek, Vaibhav. Good, good, good. All right, and now I will come back. Any query if you have in this question, please ask. This is a question in which we saw various kinds of clues. Okay, we relied on see structure-based clues, sequences, date, time sequences, right? Then idea, example. Okay, then general, specific, or basically general statement. Then its elaboration. We relied on all of that. Okay, so let's come to our next question then. If there's no problem here. This is a snap previous year question. Let's see what you say. Yes, I am going to be taking. So when we actually attempt an exam as a student, we take an exam. So yes, I'll be taking snap tomorrow, snap slot 2. Right, my focus will be to memorize as many general English questions as I can for you so that they can be discussed in the analysis. Okay, I'll be giving you a first impression of the exam after it gets over. Okay, let's see what you say. Acha, okay, wait a minute. I want to discuss this question once. So this question came with these instructions in the exam. The following is a scrambled sentence. So this is not really a paragraph, it's a sentence with the segments marked 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's one sentence with the segments marked 1, 2, 3, and 4. Choose the alternative with the order of segments that best reconstruct the sentence. That best reconstructs the sentence. That order you have to choose. Right. Now, you can actually clearly see here that, okay, here there is no full stop, right? Then here again, there is no full stop, no full stop. Just one sentence has a full stop, which is 3, right? So 3 should come at the end. That much is clear. And A can be eliminated right away. Okay, so take the help of such clues. So this is a peculiar question that I found in your snap previous year papers, and that's why I decided to include this here, right? So now operate with the help of these punctuation marks. Of course, relate them thematically and tell me what the answer should be. Yes. And yes, the concepts that you apply are going to be very, very similar. Absolutely, Sham. Good. I showed you a path. Some of you then again applied your common sense and realized that 2 should be the opening sentence, isn't it? Because the others, they have not been capitalized. They're not the opening, they're not the opening segment. So even C goes out of the window. It comes down to B and D. And then you realize that 1 and 4 is a definite, a mandatory pair, right? So absolutely correct. B, Bangalore is the answer here, right? 2, 1, 4, 3. 2, 1, 4, 3. So not a difficult question, right? If we apply our some of our common sense here, okay, full stop. This is going to be the last fragment. Okay, this is the only one that has been capitalized. So this is the opening fragment. And even if we, let's say, don't apply this, then also thematically it makes sense. So for instance, once you realize that 1 4 is a pair, automatically you narrow down to B and C even in that case. Even in that case, right? Then Padre Rotten was an even more striking case. For all the Padre's rhetoric about the English as God's chosen people, the Padre had had a whole tribe of Anglo-Indian first cousins. So that is why his case was striking, no? That he told people that, English was God's chosen language, but he himself had a whole tribe of Anglo-Indian first cousins. They were Indian also, right? Anglo-Indian, British Indian, right? So that's why his case was striking. 2-1 is going to be the sequence here. 2-1-4-3. Colon is used when you want to elaborate something later on or when you want to introduce a list later on. Here I am elaborating why his case was striking. Right? So through that also you could attempt this. Very good. All of you, those who said B, excellent. A different kind of question it was. Okay, let's have a look at this IFT based question. Sentence 1 is fixed. You have to arrange the other 4. So, although okay, yes, Harsh. CMAT also asks para-jumble questions, so it will help you for that as well. Sneha says C, Gaurav says B. I think Sham also said B, or was it for the previous question? So is it B? Is it C? I want, okay, someone to break that tie. All right. Ritu says C. Others. Sham says C. So more of you say C, is it? Someone else? Okay. Anyone who says A, D, B, more of B's? Anyone? So Gaurav, what makes you say B? Why not C like the others? Okay. The beginning of the universe had, of course, been discussed for a long time, right? Okay. Then, so basically, here we are talking about the beginning of the universe, how the universe began. Another thing that I spotted when I read this was that there was an obvious pair, he and, I mean, S and Q. So S should come before Q, and basically SQ is a pair, nothing can come in between them, right? So the moment you realize this, you're just able to eliminate A on its basis. Now it comes down to what should come after the first sentence. Should it be P or should it be R? Yes. Should it be P? Should it be R? Now, see, it should be R and not P. That is what makes this question interesting, and that's why I gave it to you. So, we are talking about just the beginning of the universe here. The beginning of the universe had, of course, been discussed for a long time. Okay. Now, elaborating this discussion, according to a number of early, see, it has been discussed for a long time. According to a number of early cosmologies in the Jewish or Christian or Muslim tradition, the universe started at a finite and not very distant time in the past. So, this is what people believed about the beginning of the universe, that it started at a finite and not very distant time in the past. Now, a lot of you think that P should come after S1 because it says beginning and this says such a beginning. But actually, such a beginning refers to this assertion here, that the universe started at a finite and not very distant time in the past. Now, one argument for such a beginning, that okay, it started at a finite and not distant time in the past, was this feeling that it was necessary to have a first cause to explain the existence of the universe. Okay, so basically, unless you had a, a finite time when the universe began, you could not actually explain what led to everything, what caused life on the earth, right? So, one argument for such a beginning was this feeling that you had to have a first cause to explain the existence of the universe. And that's why R, then P, then S, and then Q. So the answer is B itself and not C. Okay, because in C, when I say such a beginning, what kind of beginning? यहाँ पर तो बस मैंने beginning of the universe बोला है. What kind of beginning am I talking about? The one that is there in our finite time and not a distant time in the past. Right? So B Bangalore is the argument. Okay. And one argument, another argument. Even PS makes sense together. Yes, RPSQ. So B Bangalore, remember this interesting question. If anything so far has not been clear, you can ask. Otherwise, let's look at another snap question. The first sentence here also is fixed. You have to arrange the other four. Let's see what you say. Tom's two brothers. This is a typo there. Okay, I've got D Delhi. So, if you look carefully, either N or L is the closing sentence. But then N cannot be the closing sentence, so option B is eliminated right away. Then either O or N is the opening sentence, as in the one that comes after this. You tell me which one fits better. It is O, right? In summer 2000, Tom's two brothers and a handful of his cousins sent a letter asking him to restructure the holdings, right? So they sent a letter asking him, uh, Tom's two brothers and a handful of his cousins, asking Tom only, all right, asking Tom to restructure the holdings. So N does not look like it will come after this sentence. Rather, O gives me the context that, okay, in summer 2000, this happened. A year later, the family agreed on a governing structure for the Pritzker organization, requiring Tom to open the books. Acha, so now I relate N strongly with L. Why? Because it says it required Tom to open the books, hold annual meetings of family shareholders, and issue regular financial reports. Under the plan, he was until 2011 to distribute the assets among the heirs. So this is what his job was. He was to open the books, hold annual meetings, and then ultimately distribute the assets. So NL, NL is a pair. O is the opening sentence. Option C is the answer here. Okay. So in summer 2000, barely a year had elapsed before the Pritzker clan began to squabble, fight over petty things. In summer 2000, Tom's two brothers and a handful of his cousins sent a letter asking him to restructure the holdings. The family was no longer cohesive whole. They wrote. Who wrote? Tom's two brothers and a handful of his cousins. So OM again is a very strong pair. Writing a letter and they wrote. OMNL is the only possible sequence there. Why so many of you? Why are so many of you saying D Delhi? See, they wrote. Who wrote? And besides writing is concerned with a letter. So theme based clue right here. OMNL. ये difficult नहीं था question. Okay, you could easily form these two mandatory pairs here. Okay, and you could also relate this barely a year with summer 2000. Okay, and sequence date wise sequence could also help us. 2000 पहले आएगा फिर L आएगा, right? Those things could help us here. So use elimination, use making mandatory pairs, use your grammar based clues, use theme based clues. Okay, you are, subconsciously doing it. I'm just codifying it for you. Right? So this was our snap question. Okay. And I found it a good question. And it was not a very difficult question also. You just had to make pairs. So the idea is that whatever question you attempt, ultimately you are applying the basic concepts of theme-based, grammar-based, and structure-based clues. Now, when CAT after 2014 stopped giving options with para-jumbles, students thought that things have become more difficult. They actually became more difficult because they asked 5 sentence para-jumbles without any options. So it was a difficult task to arrange them because there were 5 factorial combinations for that. And without any options, even if you place one pair incorrectly, you've got an incorrect answer there. To compensate, there was no negative marking, but it was still a time consuming affair. So probably they also realized it, and then in the subsequent years they reduced it to 4 sentences. So now the job is relatively easier, but again you have to pay a lot of attention to theme and structure also along with grammar. So look at this question here and tell me the sequence now. No options here because this is a CAT based question. So tell me the sequence, apply all those clues that we've discussed so far. Just think that this time you don't have any options. That's the only difference. Tell me. The first step, of course, is reading the sentence with some special attention to the initial few words. They might contain clues. Okay. So that's the first step. Okay. Mukund says 2134. Gaurav says 1324. So as a first step, all of you read the sentences. See, of course, you'll have to read the entire sentences, but then pay special attention to the words that are being used, right? So I can see choice relationship there in 2 and 4, right? Choice is given here, choice is given here also. So notice such things where words have been repeated, right? So then see individualized, individual. Again, I see a connection there. 4-3 connection or 3-4 connection. I don't know right now, right? But I see a connection. So this is how you have to start. You read the sentence, you pay attention to the words that are repeated, you pay attention to any connections that you come across. These could be grammar based, okay, usually exist in the beginning, but they can be there later on as well, okay. Or you yourself make this connection, okay, both of them are talking about food, so probably both of them should come together. You've just made a theme based connection there, right? 2134 1324 2413. All right, any other, any other sequence? I've just got 4 responses. This is the last question for the day. I want enthusiastic responses. 2431, Sneha says. So, see, food is commonly, so food is the topic of discussion in this in this paragraph, right? You can see that food is present in all of the sentences. Yes. So, food is commonly framed through the lens of individual choice. And then we explain what we mean by that. You can choose to eat healthy. Now, 3 could not be the opening, 4 could not be the opening. 1 specifically talks about women. Ye discussion kahan se aa gayi right in the beginning? I don't think this discussion can come right in the beginning. So 2 is clearly the opening sentence, right? Then, because I'm talking about choice, I continue that discussion. You can choose to eat healthily. The individualized, so this individualized framing of choice, the individualized framing of choice that you can choose to eat healthily appeals to a popular desire to experience agency. It makes one feel that, okay, they are in charge, they are in command, but it draws away from the structural obstacles that stratify individual food choices. But then there are structural obstacles also that prevent you from choosing the food that you want to eat. It takes away from that. Okay. Then I say this is particularly so. What is particularly so? This, this problem. I'm talking about a problem here, no? That it is actually drawing attention away from the structural obstacles. This particularly happens in a neoliberal context where the state has transferred the responsibility of food onto individual consumers. State ने बिल्कुल transfer कर दी responsibility कि हमारी नहीं है, right? Okay, so individual consumers. So women are one of those consumers. Okay, women is a category of those consumers. So that is why after 3 we can place 1, not before that. Women may prioritize cooking because they feel that they alone are responsible for mediating a toxic and unhealthy food system. I've put the responsibility on individual consumers. No, so women are feeling the burden of that responsibility, that they alone are responsible. So responsibility, responsible. Again, a connection there. So that's how connections existed here. Words were being repeated here. You just had to realize. 2431 is the answer here. I did this through a combination of theme-based clues. I saw what words were being repeated. I also made connections. Okay, this relates to this sentence relates to this. Some of these connections were grammar-based also. On the basis of that, I decided what should be my opening sentence. Okay, and then there was a structure also. See, this is a very specific discussion, so that's why I placed it once I started discussing individual consumers, not before that. So there was a structure to the discussion. Make sense, everyone? So 2431 is the answer here. These are your type in the answer para jumbles. See, of course, till CAT 2023, we'll have a lot more sessions on para jumbles and we'll practice a lot more such questions. So you need not worry about this. Okay. And other exams, they give you choices. They ask MCQs. So I hope this session helped you in understanding what kind of clues you should pay attention to in the exam and how you should eliminate when options are given to you, right? All the very best for SNAP and IIFT, those who are taking IIFT tomorrow, all the very best, right? All my wishes are with you. Just stay calm, stick to the strategy that you've decided for yourself. In case you need to make some minor innovations, please do that, right? General English, we are expecting it to be easy again, but let's see how it pans out. Whatever is the case for everybody. So don't panic there, right? This is our CAT 2023 comprehensive program. Those of you who are interested, maybe your friends are taking CAT 23, do recommend it to them. And you should enroll right now because there's a lot of stuff that you have to cover. Okay, it takes time to cover it. Last lap to IIFT, I think today is the last day. Yes, at 7 p.m. Join us at 7 p.m. today, right? And today we are going to talk to you about again, some topic itself. Okay, it's a topic based session as far as I remember. ZAT 2023 All India mock is already open. So those of you who are targeting ZAT, don't delay this. Okay, attempt this now. And the video solutions are there. I mean, once you know the result is out, then video solutions will be made available to you, right? And yes, stay connected via Facebook, Instagram. You can stay connected with us. I'm sure all of you have already subscribed to the channel. You can also download our app for more such informative educational sessions, and we can stay connected via Telegram as well, right? Okay, then all the very best to all of you. Bye bye. Bye bye. Okay. I hope I'm not hiding the screen any longer. Sorry for that. Just that sometimes my video, the picture that you see is a bit too large. Right, right. Welcome, welcome, Gaurav. I hope things were clear to all of you. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Bye.